Assalamu alaikum. My name is Muqaddam Hussain, and today my topic of presentation is Oedipus Rex, its introduction and a brief overview of this play. In this presentation, I have discussed the settings, characters, plot, tragedy nature, and conclusion of the famous play Oedipus Rex, which is written by Greek writer Sophocles. Setting of the play. Setting is the in setting we come to know about the time and place and when this play or this drama have been written or performed. And the Oedipus Rex was written in was written in 441 before Christ, and this play was written and performed in the Athens, or city of Greek. Its tone is tragic, and we find tragedy with the protagonist of this play, Oedipus. And this play was performed in the theatre of Dionysus in Athens. The character lists of this play are Oedipus, Jocasta, Cleon, King Laius, and Tiresias and Chorus. Oedipus is the main character that suffers the tragic flaws and meet to its tragic end. It is he is the king he is king in the Thebes, and that has to suffer the tragic is tragedy. Jocasta is the wife of previous king Laius and is the mother of Oedipus, as well as she is the wife of Oedipus, and she blinds herself. She suicide and kill herself in in the result of a tragedy in the end. Creon is the brother of Jocasta and is the uncle of Oedipus Rex, and he is a powerful man in the state of Thebes and becomes king after the banishment of Oedipus Rex. So Oedipus. Theseus is the blind man, and he is a pious and wealthy man who has the ability to foretell or make prophecies, and he makes prophecies about the king Oedipus that he will find himself blind and and he will marry to his mother Jocasta and kill his father, the ex-king Laius. And Chorus is a group of person or a man in the Greek plays that comments on the events and by singing or by speaking. Next is the plot. Plot refer to the events or sequence of events that happens in the play. It plot usually includes exposition or introduction in which the in which several types of in which we are introduced to the conflict of a play, or in which the we are introduced with the characters, and we know what is the story is going on. Rising action are those action in which where we in which we we come forward to the end of we come forward to the conflict and its peak, and climax is the main and peak point in which the riddle is solved, the conflict is solved and clicked, and we come to know why what is the result of this conflict. In Oedipus Rex, we shall I shall discuss it further. Falling action after the climax. Falling action are those actions that meet to the that results the end. the such action brings the result or brings the end of a play. Conclusion is the theme, or conclusion has the moral lesson of the play or the novel, or any genre of literature in which we that we are discussing. Next is exposition or the introductions or introductory actions of the Oedipus Rex. As I have told you earlier in this presentation that Oedipus Rex, in Oedipus Rex, we come to know when the people are gathered at the palace of King Oedipus, and they seek help from the Oedipus, as they consider that he is the wealthy man who has saved from Phoenix in the past, and now he is the only man who can solve the riddles of their plague, who can understand why and how this plague can be avoided. Next are the rising action. In rising action, we come to know and we introduce introduction. We introduce ourselves with the conflict that is being happen to the next in this play. In the Oedipus Rex, the plague or the plague is related with the murder of the ex-king Lais, and it's a duty of Oedipus that is supposed by the others and by the audience that he has to find the murder of the ex-king, and he has to punish. And Oedipus, being a responsible man, takes his duty and finds the truth. And he is obviously he seeks from help from Creon and from the blind prophet, and although he has to find many difficulties in finding the truth. Climax. In the climax, when conflict is resolved, when every time when we come to know that in the Oedipus Rex, we find that Oedipus is the very man who has killed his father and married his mother, Jocasta, and now he is a king, and he has done all this in completely ignorance, and this is the climax, and in which and this conflict and this riddle is resolved, in which at the spot when he has come to know and that he is that guilty man who has killed his father and married his mother. Next are the following actions. Following actions after the climax are those actions that leads to the end of the play. In following action in Oedipus Rex are the suicide of Jocasta, the queen and mother of Oedipus, and the self-blinding of Oedipus himself. When Oedipus know that despite of Jocasta's seduction to learn about the truth, and Oedipus now comes to know that he has fulfilled the fortale or prophecies of blind prophet, that he has killed his father and married to his mother, and now he is also king. He also is the father of his brother. That is very shameful for him, and after knowing this, he is blind eyes, and Jocasta kills herself or suicide. Conclusion. Conclusion is that is in the Oedipus Rex in that the end of a person should matter rather than what status of life he was in his youth or in early age. Oedipus was a king and was a prosperous man, and who got birth in royal families, and he spent his life in the as a as a prince and as a king, but he met to a tragic end when he is in completely ignorance. He has uh, married his mother and killed his father. That was very shameful to him, and he cannot be when he learned that he has did this job. And in the conclusion, and as George describes that he has learned, which was just described that Oedipus meet to tragic end by some his flaws, and we should know that we should have to we should have to improve ourselves tomorrow, not yesterday that have been fasted. And now look at glimpse. Now we should have a glimpse of tragedy. Tragedy in serious place, especially in Greek tragedy, we find that the main character or the protagonist or the tragic person faces it is tragic and due to some tragic flaws, for example, malicious or some etc. Tragedy in the Oedipus Rex is considered as the tragedy of fate, as events of this place are have been told earlier or in the prophecies or foretold by the blind prophet. So everything has been described and planned earlier than it's happening. For example, blind prophet told the lies that this very child will kill you and will marry to your wife, and the King Lice and Jocasta tries to avoid their fate by killing their son, but they being parents of a child, they are so passionate that they are unable to kill, but they handed over this child to a shepherd, and fate saves Oedipus to as Oedipus is the Oedipus in the future kills the previous king, lies in completely ignorance and marries to his mother in completely ignorance. This is the main point in which we come to know that he is bound, as in Greek tragedy, that in Greek tragedy this is very a big point, a very important point, that God knows everything, and man cannot avoid the God, as described in this play, that Lys has tried to escape from his horrible fate as did Jocasta and Oedipus, but all these efforts was was bring nothing positive in their life, and this so due to this tragedy of tragedy is called the tragedy of fate, as this is the tragedy of fate in the Oedipus Rex by Sophocles. This is all my presentation, and if you have any question you may ask me, and thank you for watching this.